morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christine Baptiste Perez, and I'm the chair of the Bridgeport Board of Education. And we are gathered here today with not only Board of Education leadership, um, city leadership, but we're here today to make an important announcement. But before we do so, I want to introduce you all to the visionary of this district, who's leading our district and our students into a 21st century high quality education that every child in Bridgeport deserves. It is our leader, Dr. Carmela Levy David.
Welcome and thank you all for being present. We are here to make a stand for students and to right a wrong that has been going on for far too long. We are closing 6 schools over the next 36 months that are harming students and draining our hard-working taxpayers' money. Bridgeport Learning Center. This school was built 5 years after Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, and it has never been renovated. This is where we currently stand. Hall, built in 1914, the year we entered World War I, and never renovated. Edison, built before World War II in 1939 and never renovated. Bryant, built in 1914, before World War I, renovated but fallen apart. Dunbar, a school that is plagued with chronic absenteeism and learning challenges for our students that we expect to make right as quickly as possible. And Cross, another one of our schools plagued with chronic absenteeism and also a lack of support for our students. What do all of these schools have in common? They have in common student failure. We have to focus on safety and security, on high quality education, and on responsible fiscal stewardship. And that is more important now than ever. Someone must step up and tell the truth, and that's what I'm here to do. These buildings are no longer safe for our students or for our staff. These schools do not give our students a good foundation or the hope that they need to be successful. Our district is the 4th lowest performing school district in the state. That is not something to brag about. Our literacy scores indicate that we are in the 30th percentile. In other words, our students are not demonstrating mastery. We will not continue to provide students with 12 years of childcare. Our goal is to prepare all of our students for their future, for beyond, for everything that they imagine they want to achieve. Our data shows that the schools we are closing are failing students. At Bridgeport Learning Center, Edison, Hall, Dunbar, Cross, the percentage of students who meet the state's accountability standards in English language arts ranges from 7% to 15%. The scores in math are even more dismal. The percentage of students meeting or exceeding math standards at these 6 campuses only ranges from only 3% to 7%. So you may be asking, when is somebody going to do something about this? A lot of parents ask me, when is somebody going to do something about this? Well, we're going to start doing something about it today. Today, we are changing the tide. Today, we stop failing our children. Today, we say we will not tolerate deplorable building conditions that are not safe nor secure. Today, I am taking away the school to prison pipeline. Buildings have a lifespan, and these buildings have outlived theirs. 3 out of 4 schools have not been ADA compliant for more than 30 years and only have stairs at the entrance. That means that no one, not even a student who has mobility issues, can access these buildings. Also, they do not have fire sprinklers. These buildings are not safe. 3 of the schools have asbestos in the floors and piping. Issues also include restrooms that are grossly inadequate and in need of renovation. As the largest district in Connecticut, we should have state-of-the-art facilities to ensure our vision of student success is achieved. We must design modern 21st century facilities, and that takes time. It won't happen overnight, but we must start now. We are already too late, and our students and staff need us to make uncomfortable decisions now so that their futures are filled with opportunity, innovation, and access to every technology. As difficult as it is to say, I must be clear that, like many of the other districts around us, we have to reduce our staff, and we will do so strategically. We will do most of this through attrition by not refilling vacant positions and retirements. However, we will not lay off staff this school year. We will honor our contract. Our commitment is to create as little disruption for students as possible, which has not been our practice in the past. We have been an adult-centered system, and that changes today. All decisions moving forward will be student-centered with students' interests at the core. Unlike the practices of the past, we will not cut services that benefit students and will not cut positions that directly benefit students. Starting now, we will stop allowing dysfunctional people who want to control and drive the narrative for their own personal interests at heart to block innovation that will bring overdue resources to our students. Everyone on this podium behind me, as well as others not present, shares my vision that every child needs access to a high-quality education. We are here to make a stand against self-aggrandizing behaviors, lying, grandstanding, and power-playing behaviors. There is one superintendent in this district, and I have committed my life to serving children and will not let politics stop the progress that so many of our families deserve. In Bridgeport Public Schools, we are pulling back the veil and ensuring that we have transparency, despite how uncomfortable it may be when we see the true state of where we are, the true state of where we have forgotten and neglected our children. We must be courageous and make changes that need to be made so our students can successfully navigate the world and change their family within one generation. By making these changes, we will house our students in healthier buildings, we will offer them a higher quality of education, and we will save taxpayers more than $4 million annually. Join me in rising together for better schools. We have to do better for our students. They deserve for us to make better decisions for their well-being and for their futures. And we have to work together with city officials, with our congressional delegation, in order to ensure that our students have the very best in Bridgeport. The very best is not a science fair. The very best is not a free day or a picnic. The very best is ensuring that they can access Tier 1 curriculum each and every day in the classroom, that they have necessary accommodations to be successful when they have learning differences, and that they are able to access sheltered instruction when their first language is not English. These are things that we have not done, and these are things that we will begin doing immediately. I want to make clear that moving forward, our expectation is that every single member of the Bridgeport Public Schools family will have excellence, high expectations, and the best intentions to do no harm to our children. At this time, accredited members of the media will be granted access, well, actually, right after this, accredited members of the media will be granted access to the building for a short tour. This time, I'll take any questions. Richard.
At the time, a lot of parents pushed back against that. There were a series of community meetings. I'm curious what your message might be to those parents if they have similar reactions this time around.
Thank you for asking the question, Richard. I believe 14 years ago was the first time that we attempted to close Edison and Hall. And I can tell you that change is never easy. Change is uncomfortable. However, the condition of these buildings dictates that we cannot continue to have students trying to be successful and to learn. The data shows that students are not being successful in these environments. The data also shows that our students have been chronically let down with the service that they've received in these buildings. They're uncomfortable buildings. That's why I'm inviting all of you on a tour so that you can actually put eyes on what it is to go to school in a place like the Bridgeport Learning Center, Edison, or Hall, so that people can understand that these settings are not appropriate for our children. They're not places that inspire innovation or imagination. And we have to make a change. Thank you. Great question. Our students will be going to a number of schools in the surrounding area, and I can give you a detailed list of what those campuses are. And these transitions will happen. We'll be informing parents throughout the next couple of months. And the decisions are going to be made on an individual basis based on the student's address. For those students who need transportation, we will provide transportation. For those students who are able to walk, they will have to walk. But we will make sure that we address any barrier, and we will also be granting control transfers to specific campuses if the parents choose to do that as well.
Uh, what plans are there for new buildings that fit your 21st century model? When might we see and learn more about those?
My expectation is that in the very near future, we will conduct a demographic study that will allow us to better predict where we can build a beautiful brand new facility. Because our goal is to ensure that we have schools that are accessible to our students in every single neighborhood in Bridgeport. That's going to take some time. That's going to be a partnership between myself and the city in order to ensure that we can make the best possible decision about where our next campus will be located. But I can tell you it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and it will meet all of the expectations that our students and parents have for where they should be learning.
I did want to ask about the data too. How long have you seen this trend, and has it gotten worse? I mean, how have the numbers grown over the years?
The data trends have been declining steadily over the past 10 years, and it has been getting worse every single year over the past 10 years. There was a little blip probably in 2018 where we saw some growth, and then COVID happened. So a lot of our students have not been able to bounce back and recover since COVID. And what we're seeing is that our students are not being successful in these schools, neither in literacy nor in math. And those are critical building blocks for success academically over the long term to ensure that our students will be able to graduate and go beyond high school to be work ready or to actually go to pursue a higher education experience in college. So these are pieces that I feel are non-negotiable. Our kids need tier one instruction. They need better environments. They need to be able to access the very best teachers. They need culturally responsive teaching. They need to make sure that they access sheltered instruction strategies so that they can learn. And they need to ensure that they have accommodations when they have learning differences.
In Bridgeport, in the area. Are you worried about overcrowding in the schools that these kids are going to be moving to?
We've conducted a very careful study of the building capacity for our schools in order to ensure that we don't do what you're describing, overcrowding campuses. We're not just opening campuses and saying, everybody go there. This is going to be a very methodical, very analytical process, just like the process that we use to come to this decision. So we will make sure that when students are invited to attend a different campus, that that campus can accommodate them. My current goal for student teacher ratio across our elementary schools is 22 to 1. That is my current student teacher ratio goal. That's the goal that we hope to meet. And we will be working to ensure that we can do that as the spring semester progresses. That's not what I said. No, I did not say we're going to rebuild each of these schools. Okay, we hope to build a school in the future that will accommodate our students and provide them with all of the advantages that they deserve.
How many positions might get reduced along this 3-year period? And it looks like the first buildings are slated to close in June. Is that when we might start to see those layoffs again?
I just finished saying that we're not going to have layoffs in the coming
Not
year.
this year.
No, we're not going to have layoffs in this year.
This
We're
current
gonna-
year, does that
this
mean ending
current
in
year.
June?
No, we're not going to have layoffs in the 24-25
The
school
calendar-
year. The calendar year of 24-25.
Okay.
Next school year. There will be no layoffs.
Okay, so next school year there won't
Correct.
be layoffs. So does that mean layoffs start after that period?
No, not unless you're naming the layoffs, Richard. We're not going to plan on layoffs right now. We're going to have to analyze our fiscal status
Okay.
very carefully over the coming year in order to make those decisions.
Do you know how many positions might be affected?
No, because I'm not planning on layoffs at this time.
Okay.
If there are no more questions, I want to thank you guys, and we're going to invite you to a short tour.